Hey everyone, my name is Taylor, also known as Loopholbrook. Today I'm doing a deck tech on the deck that I'll be playing in the upcoming season of the Untap Open League. It's Abzan Midrange. With the help of some teammates, specifically Zedrez or Matt, I was able to shore up some of the bad matchups, I think. Mainly Control, which I think was heavily unfavored for Abzan, which now I feel is very heavily favored for Abzan. And I've kept the kind of aggressive main board that Abzan traditionally has in this format. But this sideboard, I think, has really helped shape the deck to push it back to tier 1 wherever it started in the beginning of this format. And it honestly feels to me like it's the closest to having 50-50 matchups throughout the entire metagame as any deck has ever had in the entire history of Frontier. So our early game consists of 4 Ward in the first tree, 4 Elvish Mystic, 4 Scrap Heap Scrounger, and 4 Smuggler's Copter. So the Ward in the first tree, the Smuggler's Copter, and the Scrap Heap Scroungers serve as a way to get in a lot of damage early because 3 power really adds up throughout the game. And then the Elvish Mystic is just there to ramp out our bigger threats that a lot of the smaller decks have problems getting past, such as Anaphenza and Siege Rhino. So this is what I would call the core of the deck. We're running 2 Thalia Heretic Athar, 3 Anaphenza the Foremost, 4 Siege Rhino, and 3 Gideon Allied Zendikar. The Thalia Heretic Athar helps with the combo matchups like I was saying earlier, as well as just like putting people on the back foot when their lands come untapped, because this is a very multicolor heavy format. Then the 3 Anaphenza is a good catch-all for just being a very aggressive card, being a 4/4 for 3. But in addition to that, she has the ability to exile any creature card, so the graveyard decks now are very hurt whenever we play Anaphenza. And if we play Anaphenza or Thalia on 2 with the Elvish Mystic, it's hard for a lot of decks to come back. And we have 4 Siege Rhino, which is the heart of the deck, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would feel that Abzan wouldn't be playable without Siege Rhino. Just that 4/5 body with Trample acts as pseudo-evasion, but is also one of the better blockers in the format, and the drain for 6 life overall is a really good catch-all. And then we have Gideon, which is probably the best Planeswalker overall in the entire format, just being able to make a 2/2 when he comes down to protect himself, and being a 5/5 indestructible is so powerful. And then, of course, he has his Emblem ability, which it gives an Anthem to your entire team. So overall, he's just a really good threat. So here we have our spell or removal package, where we have 1 Abzan Charm, 3 Dromoka's Command, 3 Fatal Push, and 1 Murderous Cut. The Abzan Charm just serves as a good catch-all against the other mid-range decks and the control decks being able to draw or exile their Scarab God, Torrential Gear Hulk. Dromoka's Command is probably one of the best spells in the format for creature decks. Able to exile and not exile, makes them sack enchantments. Then you can also fight, so it's a removal spell. And the +1/+1 counter, making combat weird. And then preventing damage is really good against the red decks, the burn decks. 3 Fatal Push, just because any black deck really needs to be playing Fatal Push. It's without a doubt the best removal spell in Frontier. And then Murderous Cut as a one-of, just because sometimes Fatal Push isn't able to kill the bigger stuff, such as Scarab God or Torrential Gear Hulk, those sort of things. And here we have our mana base, which is fairly straightforward. We want to have a lot of green for turn 1, but then we also want to have white for turn 4. So I opted to go with a fetch-heavy mana base. However, I think you can get away with Llanowar Waves and Caves of Koilos without running too many fetches, but then you get a little weak to Fatal Push. And as we get to the spells on our sideboard, we have 1 Fatal Push, 2 Duress, 2 Transgress the Mind, and 2 Infinite Obliteration. Fatal Push just comes in the mirror matches and then the Atarka and those type of decks. You want to have the extra early removal. Duress is also in for the Atarka matchup, but it's also mainly in there for control and combo, such as Saheeli. And we have Transgress the Mind, once again for control, combo, Gem Delirium, that sort of thing, and Infinite Obliteration, mainly for Emrakul style decks and, Ulamog and that kind of stuff. But it's also good for naming Scarab God and Torrential Gear Hulk. Overall, like, these 3 cards, Transgress, Duress, and Infinite Obliteration, come in a lot of matchups that Abzan has trouble with. So we have 1 Authority of the Consuls, 1 Virulent Plague, and 2 Lifecrafter's Bestiary. The Authority of the Consuls and the Virulent Plague are both coming in against red-based aggro decks, as well as the Saheeli combo, and then Authority of the Consuls will also come in against any smaller creature-based decks, like Blue-White Humans, which I don't think showed up. But the Lifecrafter's Bestiary is going to come in against the mid-range matches, as well as the control matches. So Gem Delirium, Blue-Black Control, any Abzan Mirrors, I think Lifecrafter's Bestiary is really good. Being able to set up your draws with your Scry 1 every turn, as well as turning all your creatures into cantrips, is really powerful. It essentially turns Siege Rhino into, you have a 6-point life swing, you draw a card, and you have a 4/5 body, which is just insane for 5 mana. So our final 4 cards in the sideboard are 2 Tireless Tracker and 2 Ajani Unyielding. They're both going to come in the control and mid-range matches once again. As you can tell, this sideboard is very, very heavily skewed toward the control and mirror matches because the main board is pretty aggro heavy. So Ajani Unyielding is a card that most people, I think, would hate when they first saw it, but it's the card that single-handedly turned Abzan around in my eyes. Being able to draw up to 3 cards for a +2, and then being able to exile any creature that comes down, whether that be Emrakul, Ulamog, Kalidas, Scarab God, Torrential Gearhulk, Goblin Dark Dwellers, anything like that. It's just such a good catch-all planeswalker, and for 6 mana, it's pretty expensive, but with our 4 Elvish Mystic and 24 lands, it really hasn't been a problem to get there. Okay, so we're on the play and we won the die roll. This hand's pretty risky because it's going to be hard to go green, white, black on 3, but I am going to keep it because I think going 2, 3, 4 is very powerful. If I can somehow just draw any of my fast lands, this hand should be keepable. So I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to fetch for Canopy Vista and then Forest and then hope that I hit black, but like I said, this hand's really, really risky. So green-red feels like we're either against Jund, Delirium, or Marvel. Marvel's one of the worst matchups for us. There we go, paid off immediately with Concealed Courtyard. So I'm just going to play that, and now we're going to be able to curve Scrounger into Anafenza into Rhino. Okay, so we're playing against Jund. I'm going to guess it's Delirium. So the Windswept Heath was also a nice draw here because it's going to allow us to go fetch for a plains to diversify our lands a little bit. And then we can fetch the other Wooded Foothills for a Smoldering Marsh. Yep. So Vessel and Nathancy is definitely going to be Jund Delirium. Unless he has a removal spell for this Anafenza, that should mess him up. However, we're only drawing lands this game, and we kept a land-heavy hand. That's not great for us. So I'm just going to run out Rhino here. If he has Languish, that's not the best for us because it'll kill Anafenza and Scrap Heap Scrounger, but our Rhino will survive. He's going to go down to 6. We'll go up to 20. And he's just going to scoop. I mean, that just shows how powerful his deck is. The fact that only went 2, 3, 4, and his deck couldn't keep up. So for Jund Delirium, I like taking out Jermoka's commands, some Fatal Push, Warden of the First Trees, and I like to put in 2 Lifecrafter's Bestiary, 2 Tireless Tracker, 2 Ajani Unyielding, all the discard and Infinite Obliteration. We still have to remove 3 more cards. Let's get rid of Fatal Push. And then Thalia is not great here. Okay, so this hand's risky again. I'm not going to keep it because we need a green source for this to pay off. This hand's very land heavy, but with a Scry, I'm okay with it. Ajani is one of the better cards in the matchup, but I think we need early game, so I'm going to bottom it. Perfect. Scrap Heap Scrounger, so we'll be able to curve 2, 3, 4 again. I'm going to fetch Forest, Plains, and then I'll get a Sunken Hollow. So just in a turn, just to prevent ourselves from drawing another land. Okay, Blooming Marsh, gonna play that instead. Play out the Scrap Heap Scrounger. Hopefully it'll get hit with a Braid. Yep, so our Lifecrafter's Bestiary probably is gonna stay on the field, unless he has specifically Kolaghan's Command. But he's Liliana. Great. And then we hit another Ajani, which is very good against Liliana. Sorry, not Ajani. We hit another Gideon, which is great against Liliana. So Kolaghan's Command's terrible for us, but specifically that. I guess a Braid would also be bad, but I wouldn't put him on having 2 Braids. Damn it. He had the Kolaghan's Command. So probably that in discard. Let's get rid of the Flooded Strand. Okay, cool. Siege Rhino. Perfect. So we're going to play we're going to play our first Gideon. And then we're going to attack that Liliana, assuming he doesn't have, like, Never to Return or something like that. That is the danger of running Lifecrafter's Bestiary over something like, okay, he just conceded. I don't know why he conceded there. I think that was pretty good for him. But I guess just the pressure of Gideon was enough to win the game. So you see how much pressure the main board can put on, and then once you add the grindy sideboard cards after that, it just becomes this unrelenting force where they have to kill your early stuff, your 2, 3, 4 drops. But then once you start making them discard, and then you get to play a Johnny, which gets all of your creatures and your Lifecrafter's Bestiary, your other Johnny, your Gideon, all that stuff, it's just so hard to fight this deck. You're going through so many of your cards, and every single card is so powerful. But because that match was so short, I'm actually going to throw up another match that I did, which the video kind of messed up on exporting. But the gameplay is still better than the last match. So we won the die roll. I think this is a keep. It's not the best hand because we have like a multiple Elvish Mystic, which is probably the worst card in the deck. But I'm going to start out with Elvish Mystic, and then I'll go Warden Elvish Mystic next turn with a Canopy Vista tapped. So he's on blue-black. I wonder if that means he's on control or if it's going to be Sultai. Elvish Mystic, Warden, and pass. Blue-black again, Duress. Okay, so he's getting the Murderous Cut. It does look like he's on some sort of blue-black control deck. I may not want to commit this Thalia to the board. However, if he's on like Grixis or something, she could be pretty good. Okay, with a Windswept Heath, we can play Thalia and Pump Warden, which I think I'm going to do. That's giving a lot to the board, though. I don't know. Yeah. It's putting on a lot of pressure. So we have 8 power and toughness on the board already. Okay, he's on Sultai. So Nissa. I wonder if this is a Delirium deck or what. Well, I think we're probably safe to commit this Warden now because I don't think he has Languish. He could. I don't know. I don't think you'd want to play Languish into your own Nissa, but I'm going to hold back this Warden just because it's better safe than sorry. And we'll get in for 7. And if he doesn't have a board wipe or a removal spell, this Warden's going to be so big. Kalidas, which comes in tapped. I'm going to pump up the Warden. And we'll swing for 11. He can block the Thalia, take 8. He'll be dead to Rhino. He probably won't be attacking with Kalidas. So we go up to 30. So he has Dark Petition without Spell Mastery. I don't... Okay, it's taking that back, I guess. So we're going to 27. Languish. Okay. Sure. He'll have 3 blockers. He'll take 2. Unless he has a Fatal Push, exactly. I guess he has Murderous Cut as well. So he'll take 2. We'll go to 35. Second man will play Rhino. Cool. And we got the win. First thing I'm going to take out in like a Delirium based deck or Seasons Past, whatever this is Wardens. I know it just won us the game, but by itself. But that's being results oriented. What I will bring in are Duresses, Infinite Obliterations, and Transgress. Actually, I'm going to save the Infinite Obliterations until game 3, whenever I know what to hit. Because I didn't really see a lot that game. I will bring in a Johnny, Lifecrafter's Bestiary, and I think I'm going to take out a Copter. That should be good. Ooh, I didn't bring in Trackers. That was a big mistake. I meant to bring in Trackers. I just noticed I left Thalia and kept those out. I can't keep this hand. That's 6 mana sources. This hand's a little better. I'll keep. A Johnny is going to be great, but I don't know he's going to be great now. You know, I'm just going to keep him to the top because it's the most powerful card against like these control-y strategies. Vista, I think I'll probably go Copter Anafenza over Transgress Anafenza. Maybe the Transgress play is actually better. Yeah, let's do that. because then we can get rid of like removal or Kalitas or something like that. So another transgress, that's going to be good later on. Especially if we can go copter transgress the following turn. Okay. So we can take his fatal push here, or we can take his Vraska's contempt. Or even his Kalitas. Maybe next turn I'll even... Oh, I don't know, this is tough. You know what, let's take his Painful Truths, and then next turn we'll also play another transgress, and we'll take the contempt. This hand would have been so much better on the play. Yeah, so I think we can contempt here, and then if we hit a fetch land, we'll be able to go Anafenza Fatal Push next turn, most likely. Actually, maybe I should take Kalitas. Okay, his Censor. I'm going to risk it with the fetch and just take the contempt. It's going to cycle Censor, that's good for us. Okay, he's not playing the Kalitas, that's interesting. I'm going to play the Copter. That way I can loot and stuff. I really need these lands so I can hit a Johnny. That was probably a bad keep on my part. Get rid of the other Anafenza. Pass. Even if he goes like Kalitas Kill Spell here, that'll turn on our Fatal Push, and I'll trade a Scrounger and a token for him to get rid of that Kalitas. So he might have like Gear Hulk or something. I mean, he doesn't have any... He plays Censor, I guess, but meh. Okay, still no land. That's been pretty bad for us. I'm going to crew Mystic. Ugh. Get rid of the push, or a push rather. I wonder what he's holding back. So I could go Rhino here, but I feel like he has a counter spell. I'll tap the Mystic. Go to combat. Lumbering Falls. Okay, I forgot about that. That's fine. I'm going to get rid of Anafenza here. It's just not doing a lot. And then I'm going to hold up the fetch and then get Scrounger back at the end of his turn, rather than play the Rhino. And then hopefully he'll tap out or something so I can jam the Ajani. Okay. I can't see this right now. Draw cards, exile, return it tapped. So he can blink it? Interesting. So we'll go get a forest, and then we'll play the Vista. Yeah, we'll play Vista. So I think what we do here is just jam the Ajani, make him, yeah, and then he can kill Ajani, that'll be fine. We'll go to 7, we'll be at 16. Okay, he's just going to let that resolve. Huh, I guess he wanted to gain the life rather than fall down. Swing with Copter. Wooded Foothills is more... Wooded Foothills is so narrow here, or more narrow rather, so I'm just going to keep the Strand, basically the same thing. He can play Kalitas, and if he has a land, play a Languish, he'll get 2 zombies. His Kalitas will die. We'll plus a Johnny, see what we hit. So he's going to cycle Censor, that's fine. Looks like Kalitas, or maybe it's a Languish. But, oh, okay, 5. So it's Dark Petition. He has mana for 5. I guess he's going to get a Planeswalker or Planeswalker removal spell, like Never to Return or something. Okay, yeah, sure, that's fine. And kill the Scrounger. So this next turn, we'll crack the fetch, we'll push the Kalitas, we'll plus on a Johnny, we'll play a Rhino, most likely. But let's plus first, let's see what we hit. Mystic, Anafenza, Rhino. Okay, so we drew 3 without a Johnny, so you see how powerful that card is. Crack the fetch, go get a... let's get Sunken Hollow. Kill the Kalitas. And I think we're safe to jam Rhino, Mystic. I don't think we get punished at all for that. Let's crew first, though, because we're not going to be attacking with a Mystic anyway. So we have 3 Rhinos in hand. That's really good. Mystic and Rhino. He'll fall to 7. 2 to a Johnny. I'll just take it. Probably could have blocked with Mystic, but I don't want to turn on like a Fatal Push or something like that. Actually, Fatal Push wouldn't have done anything, so. But it doesn't matter for our Johnny's getting hit for 2 anyway. Languish, yeah. Should have blocked with a Mystic, but like I said, it doesn't matter. We have lethal in hand. So that's a great example of how powerful a Johnny is. This deck can just grind so well with this sideboard, and it really is favored against any of these control decks. But thanks for watching. Remember, you can always subscribe to us on YouTube at Magic the Final Frontier. Follow us on Twitter at MTG Frontier, and on Twitch at MTG_Final_Frontier.